When one mentions the word construction, the image that often comes to mind is one of hardship, of dust, of the clamor of machinery, and of sweat rolling down sun-darkened faces. This is an undeniable reality, a part of the larger quietly exists every day on construction sites everywhere. Construction
They're up, Fuzzy.
it is a creative journey, a song of collaboration, and a
What?
This essay will be a voyage into that world, to discover and celebrate simple yet incredibly powerful joys. Joys built from the very bricks, steel beams, and hearts of the builders. The joy in construction is not an easily visible emotion. It does not glitter like the glass of a finished skyscraper, nor is it as loud as a concrete mixer. It is an undercurrent, a spiritual resonance between people, materials, and space. It is present in the sparkling eyes of the architect. They hoist a massive beam into place together. It is the joy of formation, of transformation, of witnessing an intangible idea gradually take on a tangible form, standing majestically against the sky. Let us, for a moment, set aside the preconceptions of a dry and arduous profession. Let us listen because there, amidst the seemingly chaotic sounds, a genuine joy and a righteous pride are being built, strong and enduring as the very structures they create. Chapter 1. The joy of creation from idea to form. The most primal and perhaps most intense joy in the construction industry is the joy of creation. It is a miraculous process that transforms thoughts and dreams from the mind into a physical entity that can be touched, used, and can endure for generations. This process does not belong exclusively to the architect or the engineer. It permeates through every individual involved in the project. 1.1. The first spark, the dream on paper. Every great structure begins with an idea, a spark in someone's mind. It could be a family's dream of a warm home where their children will grow up. It could be an entrepreneur's vision of a modern office tower, a symbol of success. Or it could be an entire community's aspiration for a bridge to connect two shores, erasing separation. The joy begins right here, from the very first sketches on a blank sheet of paper. The architect, with a pencil in hand, is not just drawing lines and curves. They are designing living spaces, shaping emotions. Where should this window be placed to catch the most morning sunlight? Is this hallway wide enough to feel welcoming? Is that communal courtyard green enough for children to play and the elderly to rest? These are questions filled with a deep consideration for human beings. Their joy is that of a storyteller, using space and materials to tell a story of life, comfort, and beauty. The technical drawings, with their thousands of complex details, may look dry to an outsider, but to those in the industry, they are a treasure map, a promise of a great adventure without fear. Every number, every symbol is a detailed guide for the grand journey. The structural engineer finds joy in the calculations that ensure the stability of that dream. They are like silent guardians, using their knowledge of mathematics and physics to create an invisible skeleton, strong enough to withstand their creation will stand firm, sheltering the people within. 1.2. Groundbreaking ceremony. If the blueprints are the soul, then the groundbreaking ceremony is the moment the soul begins its journey into the physical world. The moment the first excavator bucket digs into the earth is not just a symbolic act. It is a declaration of the building starts. The atmosphere of the first day of the project is always special. There is excitement, anticipation, and a touch of solemnity. People look at each other, share firm handshakes, and smiles full of trust. For the workers, this is when they officially receive their dream. Deliver the empty bottles, their needs might still be growing, and in their minds, they can already visualize what the building will look like. Their joy is the joy of the new and great is about to be born from this very ground. The feeling of being part of the 1.3. The miracle of formation, when skeleton and flesh appear. This is the phase where the joy of creation is day by day, the structure grows magically. In the first week, there might only be the foundation. But within that, as the workers creating a strong root system for structure. They work Their joy is that of the foundation builder. They know that although the workers determining the very life of the entire building. Then, the concrete is like blood being infused into a solid mass. When the formwork is removed, it feels like unveiling a curtain to admire a colossal sculpture. As the building's frame rises, floor by floor, joy spreads across the site. Looking up from the ground, the worker seems small compared to the wall is a milestone of victory. They can point up and say, my team did that 15th floor. It is a simple but deeply legitimate pride. Joy is not only found in grand accomplishments, it resides in the small details. The bricklayer finds joy in laying bricks in perfectly straight lines, creating a flat, beautiful structure. The plasterer finds satisfaction in applying the final coat of render with their trowel, turning a rough surface into one as smooth as silk. The carpenter is happy when the door frames this building, opening and closing it. Every task, no matter how small, is an act of creation, contributing to the overall beauty of the whole. To witness a structure, skeleton emerges. Then it is clothed in the flesh of concrete and brick. John's coated paint is filled with glass panels. Each stage brings a different kind of joy. It is the joy of conquest and creation, and of making the impossible possible. To an outsider, the construction site is a cacophony of chaotic and unpleasant noise. The symphony is also a joy, a deep connection to the work. 2.1. Every worker is a musician with their own instrument. The percussion section is the most vibrant and powerful foundation of the symphony. The sound whack, 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 creates an urgent rhythm. The growl of a concrete drill is resolute and disciplined. The clang of a steel bar is yet sharp and bright. The sound of a pile driver thumps into the earth with a deep, majestic beat, like a sign of progress, of work being done. The string section.
What the fuck is going on right now?
Soaring like a violin crescendo. The faint whine of
Hey.
each cable as it lifts material skyward is a sound of movement. The brass section. Most important in the symphony is the piano. These are not idle conversations, but a highly effective mindset. The house call of fame, as a concrete block is built. The shout of watch out. The site, transforming it from an assembly of inanimate machines into a living, harmoniously functioning body. The joy here is the joy of harmony. Once a person is accustomed to this environment, they can read this symphony. They know that a certain machine's sound means a particular task is underway. They hear a teammate.
Ese pinche sale, ese que me habían de dejar a mí, no, que pues ay, ese cabrón nomás anda haciéndose el pendejo ahí sentado en la maquinita, y luego el otro, ay, lo viene, miren, no.
The symphony of the construction site changes with the rhythm of the sun, creating different movements throughout the day. Dawn, allegro fast. Here it is a new day, the sky is lifted. Fresh and clean. The first sounds are often the starting of any Watching live Only the sound of footsteps and tools being profound satisfaction in this silence. The joy now is the joy of completion. Chapter 3. Then camaraderie is the lifeblood that flows through the body of the construction site, nourishing and binding everything together. Construction is never a one-person job. It is the pinnacle of cooperation, and in that process of collaboration, a special bond is born, camaraderie. 3.1. In the same boat. On a construction site, everyone, from the supervising engineer to the general laborer, is in the same boat, heading towards the same goal, to complete the project safely, with high quality, and on schedule. The independence is immense. The bricklayer needs the helpers to mix mortar in the correct places. The rebar is the formwork is the site. Everyone needs to train operators to transport materials safely. This interdependence creates a deep sense of responsibility for one's own work and for one's teammates. People know that a small mistake on their part can affect someone else's work and delay the entire project. Conversely, when they do their part, that the person next to you is also working their hardest, being careful and professional. This trust is priceless. It transforms a powerful team capable of facing any challenge. 3.2. The language of the site. Camaraderie is also expressed through a unique language that requires no voice. It is a language of nods and glances. A worker on the scaffolding just has to hold up 2 fingers, and the person below knows to send up 2 plates. A specific whistle can be the signal for everyone to lift a heavy object together. This wordless understanding is only achieved after a long time working together, observing and coordinating. It demonstrates an incredible synergy, like dancers in a complex routine. Furthermore, there are nicknames and side jokes that only the initiated can understand. Feel closer and more connected. It makes the work environment less stressful and adds an element of fun and friendliness. 3.3. Moments of sharing. Camaraderie is nurtured by the smallest but most sincere moments of sharing. Sharing in work. When one worker sees a team when a young and experienced worker instruction, veteran craftsmen immediately teach them, passing down trade tricks without holding anything back. They don't just transfer knowledge, they pass on the flame of passion. Sharing in life. The lunch break is a perfect time to witness this camaraderie. They sit together, one person sharing hot tea, another a cigarette, another a guava from their own garden. They share what little they have. They ask about each other's families and their children. The joy of overcoming hardship together. The construction site is not always smooth sailing. There are days when work halts. There are days when the sun burns like a furnace. There are unexpected and complex technical problems. It is in these difficulties that camaraderie comes to life. Everyone works together to find solutions, encourages one another, and shelters each other from the storm. After overcoming a challenge, the joy of victory is multiplied because it is the victory of the entire team. The joy of camaraderie is a warm, human joy. It transforms the construction site from a mere workplace into a second home. It is the invisible but incredibly strong glue that binds people from different regions, with different backgrounds, into a unified whole. And it is this unified whole that has the strength to erect structures that will stand the test of time. Chapter 4. Overcoming challenges, the joy of conquest. Joy would not be complete without challenges. It is the process of facing and overcoming difficulties that makes the reward all the sweeter. The construction industry, by its very nature, is fraught with challenges, intellectual, physical, and mental. and the joy of conquest is one of the most powerful sources of energy on the site. 4.1. Intellectual challenges. Solving problems with no ready-made answers. Construction is not just manual labor. It demands logical thinking, problem-solving skills, and constant creativity. Deciphering blueprints. A set of construction drawings is a labyrinth of lines, symbols, and numbers. Simply reading, understanding, and visualizing a three-dimensional space from a two-dimensional plan is a challenge in itself. But the greater challenge arises when inconsistencies are discovered, or when systems clash, e.g., a water pipe running through a load-bearing unit. At this point, the engineer, the supervisor, and even the master craftsman must come together, discuss, and find an optimal solution. The moment a clever fix is found, one that ensures technical integrity without compromising design, brings an immense sense of satisfaction. It is the joy of the intellect, of winning a difficult puzzle. Responding to the unexpected, reality is always different from the drawings. This saying holds true on every site. Perhaps when digging the foundation, they discover an underground spring not shown in the survey, or a specific material is delivered late, or a sudden storm hits. These situations demand quick thinking and adaptability. Plans must be changed, manpower reallocated, alternative material sourced. This crisis management process is stressful, but when everything is resolved and the project is back on track, the feeling of relief and pride is indescribable. It is the joy of a captain who has steered their ship through a storm. Innovation in execution. Sometimes, traditional construction methods are not effective for a particularly complex architectural detail. This is when the creativity of the workers shines. They might devise a special type of formwork, a new way to process a material, or a smarter installation sequence. These small innovations not only solve the problem, but also save time and effort. The joy here is pride in one's experience and skill, the feeling of being not just an executive, but an innovator. 4.2. Physical challenges, the limits of endurance. It is undeniable that construction is a physically demanding job. Working outdoors, carrying heavy materials, and standing or moving continuously for hours is a great physical test. However, for many genuine laborers, pushing past the body's limits also brings a unique joy. It is a feeling of being flexible and resilient. After a day's work, they're tired. They feel strength in their muscles. Their bodies become tough, accustomed to hardship. The joy here is not about a setback, but the satisfaction of knowing you have a healthy body, capable of working to support yourself and your family. At the end of the day, after a cleansing shower and sitting down to a meal, the fatigue dissipates, leaving only a sense of relaxation and fulfillment. It is the joy of someone who has completed a day of honest labor with their own strength. It is a very real, very authentic joy. 4.3. Challenges from nature, a dialogue with the elements. The construction site is one of the places where humans most directly confront the harshness of nature. The scorching sun. On summer days, the temperature on site can be extremely high. Steel absorbs heat, concrete radiates. Working under such conditions is a supreme test of endurance. But they have their own ways. Wide brim hats, face covering scarves, and bottles of cold water passed from hand to hand. They encourage each other. Hang in there, break time is coming. To get through a peaceful day while ensuring safety and progress is a small victory. The sudden rain can disrupt work, create slippery conditions, and damage materials. When rain is imminent, the whole site bustles like an ant colony. Everyone quickly covers cement and steel and secures machinery. The seamless coordination in these urgent days reveals a very high sense of responsibility. And when the rain passes, they quickly get back to work, yielding its effects. Joy in confronting nature is a special one. It gives one the feeling of teaming up apart from natural environment, of building structures that can shelter people from that very harshness. They do not fight nature, but learn to have a dialogue to adapt and coexist. The feeling of erecting a sturdy roof that can withstand a storm brings a great pride, because they know their effort is creating safety for others. Chapter 5. Beauty and the raw of the joy of materials. Typically, we only marvel at the beauty of a building when it is complete, splendidly painted, and meticulously decorated. But for those in the construction industry, beauty and joy also come from the raw materials themselves, from their pristine nature. 5.1. A dialogue with matter. Each type of construction material has its own personality, its own language. A good craftsman is one who can speak with and understand it. Wood is warm, familiar, and has a distinctive scent. A carpenter finds joy in running a hand over a smooth plank, feeling its grip. Grain tells the story of the tree seasons, it's life. When they saw a log, it's like opening a new book. The process of turning a rough piece of wood into a fine door frame, a staircase, or an intricate truss system is captivating. Their joy is in giving it a second life, bringing the warmth of nature into a living space. Stone. Stone is cold hard and possesses the beauty of eternity. The stonemason finds joy in conquering its hardness. They use strength and skill to chisel, cut, and polish, transforming a formless boulder into elegant wall cladding or majestic steps. Each hammer strike is a dialogue of material, an imposition of human will onto matter. When finished, they feel the solidity and permanence in their work. Steel. Steel is resilient, strong, and the skeleton of modern structures. A steelworker doesn't see steel bars as cold metal. They see in them latent power, an extraordinary capacity to bear loads. Their joy comes from bending, cutting, and welding these bars together, creating complex frames and rebar cables exactly according to the technical drawings. They know that these skeletons are carrying the entire weight of the structure, providing safety for hundreds or even thousands of people. Concrete. Concrete, as a mix of cement, sand, stone, and water, is pliable and can be molded into any shape. But once it cures, it becomes incredibly strong. The joy of working with concrete, the joy of working with concrete. When the formwork is stripped away, a new, solid, and powerful form emerges. By that time, it's like a sculptor completing a masterpiece. 5.2. There is a special beauty in the phase where the project is still unfinished. Rows of reddish bricks has a rustic and warm charm. The power of its structure has a beauty of honesty without concealment. And how it works, how its parts connect. This joy is like that of a surgeon who knows every organ in the human body. They don't just see the outer shell, they appreciate the internal structure, the very thing that gives the building its life and durability. They take pride in their neat wells, even knowing they will be painted over. They are satisfied with a perfectly straight wall, even knowing it will be plastered, because they know that the finished beauty on the outside is built upon a foundation of silent perfection on the inside. Chapter 6. Safety is joy, building the future on a solid foundation. In the symphony of the construction site, there is one indispensable note, a foundational note that determines the existence of all other joys. That note is safety. Many might think of safety as blind rules and constraints, but in reality, safety is the source of the most sustainable joy. 6.1. Safety is respect. Adhering to safety regulations is not just about protecting oneself. It is an act of respect for one's colleagues, one's family, and the work itself. Respect for colleagues. When a worker wears a hard hat and Joy and safety also comes from progress in science and technology. New technologies, modern protective equipment, and smarter work processes are increasingly helping to minimize risks in construction industry. Use of sturdy scaffolding, cranes and smart devices, or robots that replace humans in dangerous tasks, all bring joy. Environment improved. It shows that the construction industry is not only growing in scale, upon which all other joys will surround. Without safety, there will be no transcendent creativity, no complete camaraderie, and certainly no pride in the legacy left behind. Safety is the silent but most important prerequisite for the symphony of the construction site to be played in its full, meaningful entirety. Chapter 7, The Legacy Left Behind, the Joy of Sustainability and Heritage. This is the final chapter. Extending beyond it is the joy of seeing the fruits of one's labor become a part of the world, serving the community and leaving a legacy for the future. 7.1. The handover, giving a dream away. The day a project is completed and handed over is a true celebration. Everything is clean and tidy. The final coat of paint is dry. The last windows sparkle in the sun. The building no longer belongs to the workers. It's just beginning to and emotional. The workers and engineers stand back a little, admiring the seamless inside with indescribable pride. They might point to a corner, a doorframe, and think silently, I made that with my own hands. When the keys are handed over, it is not just an object being transferred. It is a home, a workspace, a place to start new stories. See the radiant smile on the eyes of the building is the greatest reward. All the hard work paper into reality. 7.2. Building space. The greatest joy comes later, when the building begins to live its life. If it's a school, the joy is hearing the